Welcome back, everybody, to Atlas Reactor here on Additional Pylons Games. We're continuing our gameplay overviews of all the different characters, all the different freelancers here in Atlas Reactor, and today we're trying out the newest character, that is Brynn, fearsome warrior who wields a lance and shield with unmatched expertise. So above average health, below average damage, above average survivability, and below average difficulty. So let's go ahead and take a look at her abilities. So she is a frontliner, so she's a tank character, as you can tell with the shield she's got there. She'll make good use of that in some of her abilities, as we'll see here. So first we've got Impale. This is her basic attack. No cooldown, blast attack. Stab with your spear, doing 26 direct damage. Each target hit takes 4 less damage than the previous. So you can spear through multiple enemies, but as you do so, your damage is reduced each time you hit an enemy. 8 energy gain per hit. And I've got Hold the Line, which is the basic mod. So each target grants 5 shields when Aegis, the next ability we'll take a look at, is activated. Stacks with multiple stabs up to max of 20 shields. So on top of the shield, which we'll get to here in just a second, her shielding ability, she also gets shields, like the health shields, on top of that. So next up, we've got Aegis. Aegis is a free action 2-turn cooldown prep spell. So basically, you can use this on top of any other abilities, gain cover in a direction for 1 turn, reducing damage from non-adjacent attacks. So basically, she has mobile cover. It works exactly the same way as if she were behind cover of something else. If there's someone directly next to you that does a melee attack on you, then it still does full damage, but otherwise it reduces all damage by half in the same way that standard cover would from any object. Gain 4 energy for each attack covered against, and I've got a different mod than the standard. So I've got Shieldbearer. The cover persists for an additional 1 turn. So this basically allows me to come out into the open, use my Aegis so that I have cover even when I'm standing out in the open. Then the next turn, even after I've moved, I gain cover in that direction again for the next turn. Important to note that, again, the Aegis that I use on the first turn, the cover will persist to that same direction the second turn. It doesn't change directions, right? So that is Aegis. This is basically her way of reducing damage, her way of being a tank. Along with Hold the Line here, we're able to gain some shields if we're doing some damage every now and again. So that again allows us to mitigate damage once more. Soaring Shield is our next ability. Through your shield, doing 24 direct damage at the first enemy hit, knocking them back. This attack can bounce off walls. So if you're familiar with Lockwood and his basic attack and how it can bounce off walls and deal damage, it's basically the same thing, except we've got a 3-turn cooldown on this, and this has a knockback effect. So generally, in my experience, I've been using this to knock generally enemy tanks, knock them down, knock them away from someone who's chasing one of my teammates who's a little bit weaker. There are other uses for it as well. It can be just used as direct damage, just this is your only real ranged damage attack. So that's just something to keep in mind. I have taken the mod off. Normally you come up here with wind up, so increase the maximum number of bounces by 1 and you gain 2 damage per bounce, which is useful, but I didn't find it as useful as having Shieldbearer on Aegis. So on to the next ability, Flight of the Valkyrie. 5-turn cooldown dash ability. Dash to a location, unleash a cone attack, dealing 20 direct damage against enemies and inflicting weak on them until the end of the turn. Aegis is automatically activated in the direction that you attack. Gain 8 energy per enemy hit. So again, you can see that we're able to move, deal damage, and give ourselves cover all in one package. So that makes this a very valuable damaging ability, a very valuable ability. Standard mod is Booster Boots, increase dash distance by 1. I have traded that off for Warden. If you're hit the turn that you use this ability, cooldown is reduced by 2. So basically, the reason I do that is because this ability, oftentimes I'm using it as a dash in order to intercept an attack from an enemy so that one of my allies doesn't get hit. Because again, whenever you use this, Aegis is activated, so I'll move in front of my ally, protect them, and I have cover, so the damage dealt to me is reduced by half. So there you are. Again, enemies are also weakened, which means that their damage is reduced even further. So even if I don't take damage from them, I reduce the damage that they deal to others. So again, a very good ability, and I find that the cooldown reduction on it, the ability to use it more often, is much more valuable than having an increased distance. That's just my personal opinion. Spear of Hyperion is our major ability, our final ability. Blast attack. Hurl your spear with the strength of Hyperion, dealing 35 direct damage and pulling enemies towards the center of the targeter. Shattered Will is the standard mod, which I've kept here. Targets hit are weakened next turn. So you can see in the little animation there that if you're able to line it up, you can drag your enemies and basically knock them down, prevent movement unless they have a, was it unyielding or something like that? I forget what the mod is. Anyways, so you're able to basically disrupt their formation, and you can see that pulls them into a nice little line there, which is great for following up with Impale, right? So that's the basic ability, is that the basic strategy with Brynn here is you try and keep your shield up to mitigate damage as much as possible. You can move in and move forward because you basically have constant cover between 2-turn Aegis, Flight of the Valkyrie, and hopefully for some healing from our support. You're able to survive pretty well. And then you're able to weaken enemies, and you want to get them into a line so that you can spear them all in one go. Catalyst, we've got our basic catalyst, Turtle Tech, Shift, and Second Wind. Really not a reason to get away from those. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to be playing against some bots here. So we've got Orion, Zuki, and Gremlicians Inc. on our team. And just so in case you're wondering, the reason I do bots is because it's a little bit less. I would feel bad if I really screwed up. Yes, prepare for battle. I would feel bad if I screwed up when I was talking to you guys and affected somebody else's game. Also, it's a little bit easier to predict what the enemies are going to do when they're bots. A little bit here and there. So we're going up against L or Ellie, I'm not sure which. I've never been sure which. Phaedra, Helio, and Pup. Phaedra is still actually one of my favorite tanks. If I had to rank them, personally, Phaedra and Titus are up there. I really like Brynn. I think she's a lot of fun. As we'll see here, she's got decent health and survivability, but I think that she's just a little bit underpowered. She's kind of seems like the female version of Garrison in that sense. Let's go ahead and get up here. All right, enemies are splitting off to the right. They've taken all the good cover spots. Let's come out right here. All right, so Phaedra is probably going to run forward. Let's go ahead and we're gonna just oh, that's what's happening. Gremlicians Inc. is going to be knocking them back. So I'm actually going to do a nice aggressive, we're going to do a nice aggressive Flight of the Valkyrie. The reason I'm doing that is, one, to block some attacks, hopefully. Nope. Don't push me. Unfortunate. So the purpose there was to block some attacks. Also to gain cover here, hopefully block attacks from hitting Zuki. All right, so we're gonna be targeting Helio as much as possible because he is probably their key asset on their team. I'm gonna be using, let's use cover here towards the right, and I'm gonna go ahead and use my Turtle Tech immediately, because I'm feeling pretty vulnerable out here in the middle with Phaedra, Pup, and Helio all around. So we've got shield up, and then we've also got Aegis up. Aegis will give you cover to the right side for both this turn and next turn. The reason I like that handy little mod. All right, so people are picking on Zuki a little bit.
Double the pleasure.
Gremlicians Inc. with a little basic attack. So there have been some, that's the other thing too. There have actually been some changes, some updates, some I guess some balances since last time. Last character that I did. I think Phaedra was the last character that I did. So you can see here we've got a nice cone attack that's going to hit all three characters here. And then what I'm actually going to do is come down right here.
Victory will be swift.
So I'm going to come down right here. hoping that maybe these guys, if they stay in the line, I'll be able to continue basically poking all of them at once, which is really what you're trying to do. So you can see there, lots of damage to all three of them. They're in a line. One of the weaknesses of Brynn is that she doesn't have a whole lot of utility at long range. Her impale ability is pretty short range. It only reaches out maybe 3 squares at the most. So Helio really is going to be the extent of where we can reach. So you can see we barely get to Helio. So let's go ahead. Target that. Zuki's gun just like shot off here for some reason. Let's go ahead and move over this direction. We'll get the health next turn. Get ourselves out of the way a little bit. Alright. Helio dodged our attack. Orion, you better use your ult. But we did manage to hit Phaedra, which is good. There we go. So Orion is still alive at this point. So Helio, let's go ahead and we're going to use our shield ability to hit Helio real quick. So this is our soaring shield, that's what it's called. So we'll toss a shield at him. He's probably shielding himself yet. But between myself and hopefully an attack from Gremlicians Inc., we might be able to get it. I don't think so.
Oh yeah.
Mind my personal space.
See, there we go. So he's behind cover, so he took reduced damage. That's okay though. We've got our ultimate. I'm not going to use our ultimate only on Pup. If I'm going to do anything, I'm going to he's got no way of getting away. So let's go ahead and get the kill on Helio. So there we go. Took down their support. It's handy for us. We are a little low on health. That's okay. That's not good. Alright, let's go ahead and use our heal. Get some health back. And then we're actually going to come up the long way a little bit here.
We will finish
like
this.
so. Get some health. Get the might if
they
Phaedra or somebody else doesn't take it.
There is no
That's right.
That's not
Stand
good.
next to each other.
fire everything.
Big damage from Gremlicians Inc., but decided not to kill Pup for some reason.
Unpredictability is a strength.
Sure.
I've got fight in
Alright,
me
so
yet.
this is an okay opportunity, I guess, for us to use our ultimate. So you can see here, it looks like we're not going to be able to hit Phaedra. But if anybody else moves in, we'll be in luck. So let's go ahead and pull L in right here. Then we'll move to grab this health.
Your
So we're just
grave
kinda-
looks better from this angle.
Alright. Ink with a big miss. Pup with the double kill. But we also got Pup. But we're down. We are down 3-4. This is a match that's going pretty quick, actually.
Healing.
All right. Let's go ahead and give ourselves cover from the left side. We will attack here on the right side, and then we'll attack and we're gonna try and track her down. Hunt. Play a little bit of the hunter, if you will. So there we go. We got our Aegis up. Helio thankfully used the shield on himself instead of on L.
The conduit is open.
All right. That's not good.
I feed on energy.
Round 2. Fight.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do this. So we're gonna shift behind the enemy,
Glory of battle.
pick up that health. We'll also have Aegis activated both on our right side and
I'm not
down
leaving
here.
any.
L smartly shifted away.
Gonna smash
Orion looks like he's going to lose the game for us. That was a pretty good game, actually. I'm not happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and play another one. This will be an extra long episode. Yes, yes.
Take
Defeat,
heart.
defeat.
Hyperion always rises.
So I can't quite place the accent that Brynn has. It's British of some sort, but I don't know. Beyond that, well, I shouldn't say British. It sounds English,
Prepare for battle.
but I'm not really sure. Also, maybe we'll have better luck if we have a better skin. Let's go ahead and give that a try. So there we go. Got ourselves a battle hardened skin. Orion, Kagan, and Celeste as our allies this time, playing against, goodness gracious, we're basically playing against mirror teams. This is going to be really confusing. The only difference is that we have Orion and they have Helio. But
Your team is
that's alright.
ready.
Give us some experience as far as playing with and against, or as and against Brynn. Allies all going to the right. We'll come over here to, or sorry, they're all going to the left. Again, my lefts and rights all mixed up today. All mixed up. Alright, so we've got two enemies right up here. Kagan seems to be wanting to attack them. Let's go ahead. We're going to save Kagan from some damage. I should have, yeah. So my guess is that they are going to be shooting at Kagan, shooting at this direction, so I'm going to place myself here with cover. There we go. Save one more. Save Kagan a little bit of health. Also deal damage to Kagan myself. The enemy Kagan, that is. Alright. So we are, let's go ahead and use our cover to the top. We will use our spear here. And let's go ahead and follow
Let's
Kagan.
get on with it.
So we're going to try and hunt him down and see if we can cripple their paper tiger, their glass cannon. There we go. You can see we both got a shield going. Lots of
A
mobility.
localized earthquake just for you. Copyright HelioCorp.
Lots of moving around with Celeste, Kagan's, all sorts of people. That's not good. We are actually relatively. Good night. All those bounces. Alright. Well, Brynn actually kind of did me a little bit of a favor. Moving me down here. So let's go ahead and move down. Get ourselves some health. And then we will... let's do that instead.
Prepare for battle.
Oh. That's not good.
You are a worthy ally.
What you can see
We might be in,
hurt you.
in trouble here, boys. So. We're in real trouble.
Those who can't freelance, get lance.
We actually might be
I
dead.
hit someone else.
If Helio uses his basic
Oh.
attack or Brandon somehow reaches me. Alright.
Healing.
Got some healing. Time for us to do some more healing. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and come over here.
To victory.
Like so.
I'm such a good friend.
This one
We're coming over here to the left to support our allies.
You have been marked for death.
Our Kagan is doing pretty good
stealing
work.
cases and punching faces.
Yeah, punch in the faces, girl.
Actions anticipated.
Alright, their Kagan is almost down. Their Helio is pretty low. And their Brynn is pretty low too, actually. Alright, they're all down here. So my guess is they're going after Celeste. Let's go ahead and use our shield on their Brynn, disrupt her a little bit. And then we will move up here, get that energy. So we're kind of playing the waiting game a little bit because we do have to get our health back, heal up.
From all sides.
There we go, lots of mobility happening again.
How it's done.
Celeste with a big miss. Their Brynn with a decent attack. Bonk. There we go. So we kind of take her out of commission a little bit. Go ahead. All right, we got 25 more hit points coming in. What can we do? Let's go ahead and give ourselves cover down here in case Kagan is on our butt. Go get some mobility. Come back.
I live for the fight.
Yeah. Use our counter our time bank. So
Gonna give you some improvements.
it's a very, as opposed to last game, this game is very slow actually.
Cracking open the safe.
Oh, come on, Celeste. This game is actually very slow. 7 turns in, no enemies, nobody's dead
You want
yet.
some? You got
But
it.
our Celeste is looking pretty sad right now.
Pierces your soul.
Face the flame of my true power!
Nice job, Orion. Got the first kill. Brynn with the big miss on her ultimate.
I surge
What
forward.
we like to see. All right. Let's go ahead. Their Celeste could do some big damage to us, and their Kagan is right there as well. So let's go ahead and use our shield. Attack Kagan, and then we'll move this
Follow my
direction
lead.
here.
Using catalyst.
Be reborn from the darkness.
Wow. Big misses
Light
by me.
beast. Have you
Big
met?
miss by Celeste. Our
Not
Kagan
so
is down.
safe now, are you?
So I called it. Figured that Celeste would come and get me. Alright.
I deem them unnecessary.
Alright. Let's go ahead and if we come up here, hit both of them. So we'll get ourselves out of the way.
Battle.
So any attacks against us hopefully should miss. Ultimate from Orion.
Time to return
Ultimate
the
from
favor.
Celeste. Kill. Wow. Computer
My
Brynn
body
loves to do that bounce and
reforms
shield.
in the shadow.
Let's go ahead and give ourselves cover. Attack Celeste. And follow
For
her.
Hyperion.
Alright. So, not going to hit with our
Reaching into the
regular attack, but if our enemies do stay in a nice grouped up area like this, we'll have a good Spear of Hyperion ultimate
My
for
private
next
stash.
turn. Oh, that's what I like to see.
Remove them from
Stay right
the
there,
battle.
people. So we're going to do nice amount of damage to each of them, and then we're going to move ourselves right. Move ourselves right there, actually.
Activating catalyst.
So I could be in big trouble here,
Don't mind me. Mind
But-
this.
preventing them from moving. So the other thing is that they're all going to be prevented from moving next turn, which is a really big deal.
You were the weak.
Yes, so lots of damage on me.
I
Helio
am
will
controlling
probably
this
kill me.
fight.
Nope, never mind, he won't. There we are. Enemy Celeste taken down.
Rejoin the
Their
fight.
Brynn is really weakened as well. I'm gonna go ahead, Kagan can finish them off, I'm going to go ahead and zip myself. Down here.
We will finish
Get out of
this.
there. Keep ourselves alive.
Unpredictability is a strength.
Alright, Kagan. Finish off Brynn. Let's jump Celeste.
Fate has marked you. The touch of shadow.
Alright. Enemy Brynn taken down. And can we reach him? Our shield doesn't look like it. Let's go ahead and use our cover to the north, top. We'll throw our shield up here just in case we're able to do something. And then we'll come this way.
Hyperion's will.
Shield incoming.
I won't disappoint.
Thank you much, sir.
Show me what you've got.
There we go, got our shield up.
Ah! Get off of me!
Their Helio is almost dead.
Let's kick you down a notch.
Bonk. Alright. Anything we can do. We can try giving a little poke right there. See if that
Move forth.
hits any enemies. But otherwise, we're just going to move ourselves slowly into position to hopefully get that last kill
I got your back.
next turn.
And
Otherwise, our allies look like they might be able to finish off Helio. Kagan and Celeste are able to do some damage, which is what we rely on them for,
Smash and grab.
as the firepower. Come on, man. Come on, man. You gotta be targeting Helio. There it is. That's the game. 5-1. So, not the greatest performance on myself, by myself. Victory. Much better team performance, if you will.
War
So that's a
is
little bit of
child's
Brynn.
play.
As you can see, the shield ability comes in handy as you've got basically mobile cover with you at all times. Very handy. And just a bevy of other opportunities, a bevy of other abilities there. She's kind of, I don't know, she's got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Again, I think that there are other tank freelancers that are more powerful. In particular, Phaedra, Titus, and Rask are quite powerful. At least it seems to me that way at this time. But if you have any suggestions, any ideas, if you have any criticisms or critiques, let me know. So thanks again for tuning in to another character spotlight here on Additional Pylons Games. Hit like and subscribe. Check out some of the other series going on the channel. And we'll see you next time here on APG.